Welcome to the Mornings with Something.
Thank you, Christian. Actually, welcome to Mornings with the Mandalorian, the show where we talk about our first reactions, filmmaking techniques, and connections within the greater Star Wars universe in the hit Disney show, The Mandalorian, now streaming on Disney+. I'm your host, Spencer Chandler, here with my co-host, as always, Christian Miller. How's it going, Christian?
Not what I expected for today.
Why is that?
Because we lost our guest. We couldn't find him. He ran off into the woods. And now we're podcasting just
by ourselves.
So,
yeah. So, for those of you who know, we normally just do the podcast by ourselves, but we were going to have Avery back on this week. And then about 5 minutes before we were recording, Avery had an emergency pop up, and he was not able to record with us this week. He will be with us next week, however, or the week after that, or both. We don't know. But yeah, so now we're having to do this by ourselves. It's going to be a shorter episode anyway, because there's not a whole lot to talk about in this episode. A little bit of speculation maybe that we could talk about, but overall, we're not going to do anything crazy with this episode. It was very simple. These more action-packed episodes, I guess, have a little bit less just like mental stuff to break down, as in like those slower episodes we tend to talk more about, I think.
There's not as much questions, I guess. There's things that happen, but it's like it's just bad things that we're like, ooh, this is setting a lot of stuff up, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about a lot of those things that maybe we don't like, maybe that we do like. Let's first go into our first reactions to this new episode. Wow, we're just getting right into it, man. We're kind of off our game this week. Neither of us have really prepared for this episode, but we're going to do it anyway. Christian, how did you watch this episode, The Tragedy? How did you watch this epised?
On a TV at 3 a.m.
So you stayed up again?
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like my reactions whenever I'm staying up super late is either really positive or really negative.
Yeah.
The episodes that I've watched like in the morning, I've been a lot more level-headed with my reactions. So like the Ahsoka episode last week,
you texted me and you said very bad.
I didn't.
Did you? Maybe I'm thinking about a different episode. But some episode you texted me at one point and you really didn't like it. But then like the more throughout the week that we got, you were like, oh, I kind of like this.
So when I first watched the Ahsoka episode, I was super excited and had like it was like my favorite episode. Mm-hmm. And I was like dancing during the theme song and I texted you. I just texted the word Star Wars at 4 a.m.
Oh, that's right.
I just put Star Wars. Because I didn't want to spoil anything, and I thought like it's always just funny. Star Wars is so like unanimously like acknowledged in the culture that like just the name is kind of funny now because it's like so relevant, even though it shouldn't be, or like it's sort of ridiculous how relevant it is.
Yeah.
And then I found more critiques in the episode as I watched it more. And that's like that was like the most positive reaction, and also the premiere, like that was a very positive reaction.
Yeah.
And I didn't really change my opinion on the premiere episode. And then this episode, I had a very strong negative reaction. Like I had actually like said the words out loud. I do not like this. And then I rewatched it last night, and I like it a little bit more. But
yeah, I watched this one again with Katie. I spent the weekend at her house. And so we watched this together, and just like you, we both looked at each other and said we didn't like it at first. And my first reaction was that it looked cheap. I think I said this in our group chat, is that it looks like a student fan film or something like that. Just, I don't know what it is. It might be not dark enough, or like the way the colors are like really saturated. I'm not sure what all goes into looking like this, but it looks very fan filmy. Some of the shots of, go ahead and spoiler alert. Why would you be listening to this? If some of the shots of Boba from underneath while he's like beating the crap out of some stormtroopers are really weird shots, in my opinion. And also, I think that there may be a possible retcon in this episode that I wasn't super happy about. So, Overall, it's one of my least favorite episodes, but I mean, it's still pretty, like, the action's still pretty good for the most part. That's my first reaction. Should we just go into the synopsis so we can, like, dive into what we like and what we don't like?
Sure.
Alright. Pretty easy, short synopsis. It shows up on Typhon, and... Wait, what? Why are you shaking your head at me?
You always skip the important Grogu scenes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It opens with Mando bonding with Grogu and, like, saying his name. So go ahead first. Yeah, so he's trying to get Grogu to, like, use the Force on the, whatever it's called, the little shift knob thingy. He's saying his name, and he's like, having a lot of fun just, like, saying Grogu and hearing him go, like, heh. He starts like laughing at it, and he finally gets Grogu to, like, take the thing back from him. But they finally get to Typhon, and they're going up on to the Seeing Stone, and he places him on the Seeing Stone, and he's, like, doing all this kind of crazy Force stuff, and then Slave One shows up, which is pretty epic. I was very happy about that. And then Boba Fett shows up. He's there to get the armor back from Mando with help from Fennec Shand. We figured out that's who Boba is, who saved her in episode 6, episode whatever last season, the Gunslinger. And they eventually kind of, like, I guess, make peace and decide that if Mando gives him the armor, that Boba and Fennec will help protect the child, because the Empire is there and they are prepared to take the child with force. So that there's a lot of stormtroopers that come out, and we get some Boba Fett and Mando and Fennec all fighting some stormtroopers. And then Mando finally decides he has to go back up to save Baby Yoda, and we get some Dark Troopers who come down from Moff Gideon's ship, take Baby Yoda back up to the ship. The Razor Crest gets destroyed and all this, but not before Boba gets his armor back and kicks some serious booty with his new armor. And then everything ends with, Baby Yoda being in the hands of Moff Gideon, and Boba and Fennec are going to help Mando get him back in the finale. And Navarro. The ending.
Yes.
On Navarro.
Yep.
Or was that after the Baby Yoda stuff?
I didn't know. Oh yeah, and then we see Moff Gideon, like, it almost not really interrogates, but, like, threatens Baby Yoda.
He taunts Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and then they end up back on Navarro.
I think before that we go to Navarro, and Mando is asking not Gina. This is why I hate all the things that Gina has done, is that she gets in your head with all this crap. And now I can't get her out of my head when I'm thinking about the character.
Yeah.
Cara Dune she's like a marshal of, like, the New Republic, but she's not wearing the badge, which is weird. And that's, she's changed in that regard. And then Mando's asking her to help raid a prison in the New Republic. To spring out Mayfeld from Chapter 6, The Prisoner, best episode of the series. And Mayfeld's gonna help the crew get Baby Yoda, because he knows the Empire ships and all.
Heck yeah. So I think you and I, since we both have much more negative things to say than positive, let's go through some positive things that we like. I wanna start off on a good note. Like, I don't just want to, like, the whole episode be downing this episode. One thing that I did like is that Mando is able to get to where he's going without trouble. Like, the whole season, like, I know there's been a ton of memes about it all over TikTok and Instagram and everything, about how every episode in this season, like, follows a strict, like, hey, I'll help you out, Mando, if you help me do this thing, but I'm going to try to kill you during it. But then Baby Yoda's going to do something really cute at the end. Right. But and that's kind of how every episode's been. But in this, he's able to get to Typhon and able to get to the Seeing Stone without hassle. The hassle comes after. Not that it has anything to do. It's just new. You know, there's not like a inherent problem in his way from the beginning that we see coming. Which is nice because it starts you with a false sense of security. Because you're like, Jedi's gonna come now because he made it with no trouble, and there's 30 minutes left in this episode, and then nope, it's Boba Fett. He's gonna get him.
When I first saw the planet on my first watch, I was just like, there's no way that's Tython. That's like the rest stop on the way to Tython, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd seen like a screenshot of a comic where it shows Tython and it was like snowy. And so I assumed there's no way that was going to be it.
Yeah, so one thing that's really funny about this is I don't know how many of you guys are very, like, how many of you guys are, like, big on TikTok. Christian, you were not at this time on TikTok.
I only follow one Star Wars person on TikTok.
Okay, well, this went viral on TikTok about 6 months ago. This girl was hiking in California, and she was on a mountain, and she looked down into a valley, and there were a bunch of stormtroopers running around these rocks. So she started filming it on her phone, and it went viral on TikTok. Like, what are they doing? And she found the set of this episode while they were filming it, and, like, filmed them filming this, because she just saw all the stormtroopers running around the rocks. So I just thought that was kind of funny to point out. If you guys have seen that TikTok, that is from this episode. I didn't know it until Katie told me about it. Have you seen it?
The Mandalorian?
The TikTok.
I watched it twice.
No, the TikTok, Christian.
No, I haven't.
I'll share it with you. It's really funny. But I don't know. Do you think that filming it... What's your opinion on filming it in person instead of, like, on the volume?
Well, you thought we were talking about positive things.
So you don't like it?
I mean, this could have been a positive thing because they were filming it during the quarantine. If it was 6 months ago.
Is it 6 or 9 months ago? It was right before quarantine.
6 months ago was in the summer.
Okay, then it was 9 months ago. Jeez, time has gone by way too fast.
Time is a lake.
What does that even mean?
That's from Endgame. Quarantine started 9 months ago.
Okay, then it was 9 months ago, yeah. Because it was right when quarantine started that they were filming this scene specifically. So what are your opinions? I know we said we were going to do positive, but if it's bad, what are your opinions about filming in person?
I don't think it looks that cool lighting-wise because it's just very blue skies, I guess. Very bright, like, light. I don't know. I had texted you that, like, it would have been cool, but maybe more predictable or, like, cliche if they would have had a sunset that would have, gradually gotten darker as everything got worse. Yeah. And then by the time the Razor Crest explodes, it's, like, pitch black. But...
Yeah, I think one thing that really helps with working on the volume is that you do get to, like, perfectly set up your lighting however you want it. You don't have to worry about this blaring sun in California that just, like, casts zero shadows, and so it also, like...
But even then, like, doing that as opposed to a sunset is more convenient.
Yeah, exactly. Because sunset, you don't have enough time.
Like, the reason why California is so good for movies is that they have lighting all year round. Mm-hmm. And sunlight for plenty of hours in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And so if they did a sunset, they'd get like 30 minutes shooting in a day. And that's hard with stunt choreography and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I understand why they wanted to film this in person, with it being like they wanted a big, like, rock face mountain kind of thing, and with the amount of space they have on the volume, that might be a little bit hard to kind of get a hold of. And so it's just easier just to go out and do it.
Here's what's weird about it. They've got the most, like Robert Rodriguez is a director that his style is so in your face that, like, he's like if a fan film director was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, in the way that he is playing with these these action figures, as a lot of people say about Mandalorian, is that it's letting different storytellers come in and play with them in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And so combine that with the fact that the setting, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this exact setting was used in a fan film before. There's plenty of Star Wars fan films, which, like, obviously, if you've seen them, I guess that's when it's going to bother you. If you don't see them, you're lucky, but also, like, it's probably you're not gonna really care. But I don't know. I've seen a decent amount of Star Wars fan films that, like, are very cringy, and they're just, like, very obviously just in an American forest. Yeah, it doesn't even emulate what Star Wars is really shown.
It's because most people's idea of Star Wars when it comes to making a fan film is just really cool lightsaber fights and running through a forest. They try to replicate, like, if you took the best lightsaber fights from Star Wars and just put them in indoor, and, like, that's what they're basically what they think Star Wars is.
Except it's like the trees are nowhere near as beautiful as Endor.
Oh no, they're like going out in Georgia and filming the trees down there. Like, you got to get, like, some of the best parts of Star Wars is the characters and, like, the interaction between characters. Like, that's the best part. That's what Star Wars is. I
mean, I guess if you're from like Arizona, the Appalachians are going to seem totally foreign to you, but for us, like there's nothing that's like screams Star Wars about.
Well, see, I currently live in the Appalachians, and I can tell you that nothing there looks like what I imagine Star Wars to be.
Yeah. Unless you're going into, like, a cave or, like, a waterfall.
But if you're in Arizona, film a freaking Tatooine scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna make a fan film in Arizona, base it in Tatooine, or like Jakku or something. Like, film it on, like, a sand planet, because you have that at your fingertips, and that's foreign to most people because barely anyone lives in deserts. You know, and so, like, we're not used to it.
Is there like one fan film that you've seen that you liked?
Yeah, but you don't like it.
What is it?
It's the reimagining the Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's better. I don't think it's better than the original. I just think it's good. You know what I'm saying?
It was a sci-fi, like, special effects project. It wasn't an actual, like, there's nothing really brought to the table story-wise.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm saying it's hard to make a good Star Wars fan film, because that's, like, the best one I've seen, and it has nothing to do with plot.
Yeah.
It literally ends the same way as it does in the movie. They're just reimagined. I think it looks awesome. I don't think it's better than the original. I think the original is how it should have gone, because it makes sense for the story, for Obi-Wan to just die. You know, like, not put up a huge fight, because that's not what he was there to do.
The one that I like is it's an animated one, so it's kind of already got a leg up.
Yeah,
because if you're animating something, you, like, know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Like a lot more than these people who are like, I can make a plastic costume and do laser bolts. But it's called TIE Fighter, and it's just like a cool X-Wing versus TIE Fighter battle.
That sounds really cool.
Set to heavy metal music. They've done a re-edit with, like, more Star Wars music. I think they put in music from, like, Rogue One or something. But like, there's two versions of it, and it's got really cool editing or animation, because it's, like, anime style. And they did this thing where, like, it's sort of like a comic book where they take liberties, or I guess anime, but I haven't seen it done in anime before, where you see the TIE Fighter pilot in the cockpit, and they show his helmet or her helmet, and then it flashes away, and you see their face so that you can see their reactions to stuff.
That's cool.
And it's just sort of taking liberties with, like that's something like that would be so cool to see in Star Wars.
Please send me a link to this. I would like to see this very much.
And then I'd say an honorable mention is there was this fan film done by a Georgia football player, like Georgia University, and he used the campus to just do this weird fan film. He just had a bunch of, like, weird. He had, like, a couple Mandalorian outfits. He had some clone trooper outfits and some stormtrooper outfits. He played, like, a Sith Lord, and it was, like, all just a hodgepodge of Star Wars costumes, and he just had fun with, like, doing, like, laser battle scenes and stuff like that, and, like, a lightsaber fight on the football field.
Heck yeah.
And then
one thing that
I think the coach at the time was Urban Meyer. Is he still the coach of Georgia?
I have no clue. I don't watch college football.
And there was, like, this joke scene where Urban Meyer was in this scene looking at his iPad, like, sort of like Stan Lee in the library, like totally oblivious to the Spider-Man action behind him. He was just like looking at his iPad, unaware of a lightsaber fight going on. Like, it was very clearly not really trying to be taken seriously.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
I think
but, like, everything else, it's like it looks bad, but it's taking itself fully seriously, or it's like looks bad and it's not taking itself seriously, and it's just like ridiculous in a bad way.
Yeah,
we're getting off topic, but it's sort of a fun thing we've never talked about.
It's fun because like one thing that I think is bad about them is when they use like just regular everyday settings, like on a college campus, that takes you like out of it because it doesn't make you think it's actually Star Wars. You know, because like colleges don't look like Star Wars, or I mean, unless you use like a really old campus, and then I could see you using that to your advantage. But like, if you were to use NC State, for example, like that's not Star Wars. You know, I don't think I've seen a brick in Star Wars before, and that's all NC State is. But if you forgot why we're talking about fan films, it's because we think this episode looks like a fan film. One that was just a high production fan film, because if you guys have watched any other Robert Rodriguez films, like Spy Kids or anything like that, and they all kind of look like high budget fan films. In a way.
I remember the name of the Western movies that I forgot about last week.
Okay, go for it.
It's called, I think it's a series, but it's called The Mariachi. And I don't know where to find them. I don't know how. It might be Criterion Collection, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm going to watch those. And we'll probably do some episodes down the line about certain Western movies that we see.
Yeah. We're planning, we got a lot of series planned for the future. So just stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And he also did Desperado with Antonio Banderas, and From Dusk Till Dawn. It was like a collaboration with Quentin Tarantino. But yeah, after this episode, because I had a strong negative reaction, I wanted to quell that by watching some of Spy Kids 3D.
Did you?
And I found this bad quality link on Dailymotion, because it's like only on a certain streaming service that I don't pay for.
Yeah.
So I was like on Dailymotion, and it was like a weird cut together thing. Like it had the beginning of the movie, but then it like jumped forward and then jumped back, and it was like on 0.75 speed.
Wow.
And the audio was echoey, and it might have been reversed left to right. I don't think it was, but it was like the worst quality. But it was 4 a.m, so I was just like, sure, whatever. I'll take it wherever I can get it.
Goodness gracious.
So yeah, I mean, I don't think he's doing a bad job, and I don't think he's. I mean, some of the things I didn't really like in this episode, but I think that like he's just bringing a new style that we're not accustomed to seeing in Star Wars.
Listen, the things that I don't like are not. I can get over the fan film look of it. All right, the things I don't like about this episode are the story elements, and you can't blame Robert Rodriguez for that because he didn't write it. Mm-hmm. You know, like we blame Jon Favreau for that, for what we don't like, I guess. I mean, or just don't blame anybody because it doesn't really matter whose fault it is. I just don't prefer it. What other parts of this?
Like, for me, The Prisoner is like the best pan pizza with pepperoni.
Yeah.
But something like this, The Tragedy, is just like a flatbread pineapple pizza.
Ew.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it's that bad. Do you really think it's that bad?
Well, that's the thing, though. People love pineapple pizza.
I hate pineapple pizza.
Like, but it's not bad. It's just not what you like.
True. That's right. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from now. Yeah.
Because that's what Star Wars is.
Exactly. I like your analogy. That was pretty good, actually. What was something about this episode that you did like? Or do you have anything off the top of your head that you know, like, you just were like, yeah, that's pretty cool?
I like how they framed Boba Fett within this, like, story. I like Boba Fett. He's freaking... I don't know.
He's freaking what, Christian? I've been told our humor's a little dry, so whenever we mess up like this, I want to keep it in so we can kind of keep people on their toes.
I would say I lost it, but I don't think I had it in the first place.
Alright, so you said you like how he's framed.
Because, I don't know, it was seamless. Okay, well, what he ends up being is seamless in terms of recontextualizing him, like bridging him from Return of the Jedi to this show.
Mm-hmm.
His introduction, the line sort of felt flat. He was just like, "I've been searching for you, Mandalorian."
That was actually a pretty good impression of Tamara Morrison, not gonna lie.
Thank you. And some of the lines sort of felt clunky. Like, he didn't have to do the prequel quote, that I'm just a simple man making his way to the galaxy.
Yeah. He didn't, though. He changed the word.
And, like, the first scene, just the way the first scene played out, it seemed sort of like... I know I said I liked it, but I'm going through the things that I didn't like.
Okay.
Go for it. The dialogue felt sort of like an exposition dump.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, as it went on, like, I liked it because he relates to Mando. And, like, some people complain about the Boba Fett storyline in the Clone Wars, and just that whole dynamic of that explaining of his backstory. But, like, it was such a good stepping stone to this, because now we see the parallels between him and Mando.
Yeah.
And sort of the idea of being a father, and of being a foundling, and of being a Mando, and a bounty hunter. And so... And by the end, I really love the part where he's proclaiming that the job's not finished, to quote Kobe. Job's not done.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to continue to fight to get Grogu, because that's the code, that's the creed. I don't
exactly.
know. So I like the sensationalized violence I don't generally gravitate to. And so my first reaction was just like, oh, this is just not for me. This is for those Boba Fett fans. Like, I just can't connect with this.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like, the actual story at the end of, like, him just sort of connecting with Mando in a cool way, it's sticking with me. And it's got me excited to see him in the next few episodes.
Yeah. And see, like, what's funny is that this is just like your pineapple pizza analogy. One of your favorite parts about this episode being Boba Fett and the way that he's portrayed, and that's one of my big issues with it, is that, okay, I might be wrong.
You don't think he's a Mandalorian?
He's not a Mandalorian, right? Because Jango Fett was never a Mandalorian until he said he was, because the only mention of whether he's actually a Mandalorian or not was in Clone Wars, and that was by, the Prime Minister... Almec. And he said Jango Fett's not a Mandalorian. So, was he...
Well, this is fun. We get to work this out on the pod.
Yeah, so, like...
So...
Let me know. Was he speaking in metaphors?
Who of these two people telling stories to the characters in the story and to the audience is a corrupt bastard?
I get that.
Prime Minister Almec.
Yeah, but he's not, like... Obi-Wan doesn't give a crap, so why would he lie to Obi-Wan?
Because Almec's a nationalist.
Okay, so what did they say? What clan he was a part of?
In Clone Wars or Mando?
In Mando.
He said his father was a foundling, and he fought in the Clone Wars. I mean, the Civil Wars of the Mandos, which is, you know more about Mando history. Which one is the Civil Wars?
The Civil Wars was in Rebels.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because
Jango was dead by then.
Oh, that's right.
I'm pretty sure it's the Civil Wars before Satine was in power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is why the Death Watch was on the fringe.
Yeah, you're right. He would probably have fought... Yeah, so he was probably on the...
Which, that's cool, which... It's a genre connection that doesn't mean we need a show about it, but, like, Jango fighting in the war, and then being, like, a Ronin samurai, like, not having anything to do in the war because the war was done. Peace was brought to Mandalore, so what is he gonna do? He's gonna hunt for bounty.
Well, if he was on the Death Watch side, he would not have liked the ending of the Civil War.
Was he on the Death Watch side, though?
He probably would have been. I mean, that would explain why his armor's blue. That would explain why he has blue armor. And he seems like he seems like a Death Watch kind of guy. I would...
Yeah, because if he's still wearing the suit and still fighting, he's still...
Yeah, so he would have been a Death Watch.
And so, But okay, so not he's not satisfied with the result of the war, but he's got nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean. So he's a Ronin in that way, which sort of like it connects. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I'm making these.
I got you. I will say that some of my favorite part of Star Wars is Mandalorians in general. Like, they are some of my favorite characters. I love them all. For those of you who listened last week, you know that I've started binge watching Clone Wars. I'm like almost halfway through season 4, and I've learned so much about Mandalorians just from Rebels. It's not funny. This implies that Jango Fett and Sabine may be like very distant cousins because they're both part of Clan Vizsla. Are the clans families?
Sabine is Clan Ren.
Yeah, but her family was originally Clan Vizsla until Death Watch went away, and then they formed Clan Ren. Because at one point there was only the Death Watch and then the true Mandalorians, quote unquote, that lived on Mandalore.
They're not related because Jango was an orphan and was brought into the Mandalorians.
That's right. Never mind.
Because that's what you mean. Like, when you're talking about, like, he's not a Mandalorian born. He's from Concord Dawn. Like, he's just like a random person that got brought into the culture.
Because if he's from Concord Dawn, he'd be a protector.
I forget what those are.
They're the people that live on Concord Dawn. It's Finn Rao's people. They're protectors. They also wear blue armor. So he could be either one. But I don't know. Because they were not a part of Death Watch. They were like a separate clan. There's like so many different clans. And they each wear different colors. Except for Death Watch. And the protectors wear blue. And then later on, Clan Kryze also wears blue. Which is Bo-Katan's people. Her and the protectors wear blue. But yeah, so he could be anything. I don't know. And
I get bored with Star Wars history lessons.
Do you?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. I will say, though, if you do want to know, someone translated the stuff that Boba Fett shows on his arm or whatever. Someone translated that from Mandalorian, and it actually does say, like, that his father was a foundling, and that, like, what clan he was a part of. I forget what it was. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. But that was my... I see where you're coming from now, that Olmec was a corrupt man, so he was probably lying, and that, you know, I'm going to go with what's the canon now, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he's a Mandalorian. That's all that matters now.
Olmec was on the side of Death Watch, so if he's denouncing Jango Fett, it's either
true.
Because Jango fought against him in the war,
or he's a traitor,
or him not being in Death Watch and being on his own is offensive to him.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, the whole, like, Death Watch, after them not being relevant anymore, taking whoever they can and incorporating them into their creed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's gonna be their objective when they can't rule Mandalore. But, like, Olmec, like, especially because he's a politician and he's on Mandalore, he's a nationalist, he believes in the idea of true-blooded Mandalorians that believe in the warrior ways.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna be more about protecting the, like, heritage, you know? Mm-hmm. Whereas if they're surviving, that's when they're gonna be, like, growing their ranks through just people they find.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, like, Din was found in the Clone Wars, like, I don't know. I feel like the political side of it, he was more about, like, protecting the so-called Mandalorian, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like a Hitler.
Yeah, understandable. So yeah, like I said, it's not a huge problem that I had with it, but, like, I can see, you know, it's almost like Obi-Wan saying that Darth Vader killed Anakin's father. It's not exactly what it sounds like, you know?
You gotta always remember in Star Wars that characters say what they believe to be true. Doesn't mean it's always true.
Yeah, exactly. That's how Star Wars is. They always speak either what they think is true or metaphorically. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, him saying he's not a Mandalorian could also be a metaphor.
Except for like Sith-aligned villains. They've always told the truth. Palpatine told the truth to Anakin.
Yeah.
Vader told the truth to Luke. and Kylo was like,
I don't know, because in Rebels, Maul never tells the truth to Ezra. But he's not Sith anymore at that point, I guess, so.
Yeah, he's just a Maulster. And Kylo, well, if you go from our opinion that Rise of Skywalker reversed a lot of the writing, a lot of the cool things about The Last Jedi, then Kylo was lying. I mean, not Kylo was telling the truth when he told Rey she was nothing.
Yeah.
Then we found out she was a Palpatine.
Yep. Exactly. So we talked about Boba a little bit. Let's talk about Fennec coming back, because you were right last season and I was very wrong, because last season when we got to the gunslinger, you on the podcast I think said that you think it's Boba Fett because of the it was either you or we saw it on the internet and we talked about it. But
I always thought it was Moff Gideon. I think you were more leaning towards Boba.
Yeah, it was, because I said the spur sound.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if it was you or me. One of us said Boba Fett, and I thought that's who it was going to be. And then we were right. And then I was wrong last week because I said it was going to be Moff Gideon. But anyway.
I knew things were going to probably go down south and that Moff Gideon was going to feature in this episode, and I figured he was going to hire bounty hunters.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought was going to happen.
So I thought that he had hired Fennec and maybe hired Boba.
And Mayfeld.
Yeah, and I thought that was going to be the angle of, like, Moff Gideon seeking other bounty hunters.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still right about Fennec coming back and Boba coming back.
Yeah, we were right. And you were right that Mayfeld's going to come back because he did make an appearance.
Miggs Mayfeld. We know his first name now.
Yeah. I like how everyone's mugshot on the whatever computer, whatever it is, looked normal, and then Mayfeld's looked very photoshopped. Like, for some, it was just like, I know it's stupid, but they were all aliens except for him, so his kind of looked photoshopped. I think by
definition, the aliens would be photoshopped because those don't exist.
I know, but it didn't look like it. I'm just saying what it looked like, Christian, from a filmmaking perspective. Okay?
For the listeners, since they can't see inside the studio, we still have Grogu sitting with us, watching our every move.
Yeah.
And we put a mic foam, what's it called?
It's called, I don't know, it's called like a diffuser, I think.
A diffuser. He's got a diffuser on his head, and it looks like he's the British Royal Guard.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Buffeteers.
Heck yeah. Mr. Grogs, Baby Grogs.
Baby Grogs.
Yeah, so what do you think about Fennec's reintroduction to the series?
Dialogue exposition sort of threw me off of it originally, and she was just like, and here's my stomach.
I think that was useless.
Just sort of explaining away that sort of stuff. It was kind of like a cringe scene.
Yeah.
I hate the word cringe. I probably shouldn't have said that. But, the whole just like letting the audience know that this is why this makes sense or whatever.
Yeah, I didn't feel a need for that. I would have been perfectly okay if Mando was like, I thought you were dead, and she's like, well, I'm not. I would have been like, okay.
Did you notice that? So, like Mando was like, "What's to stop me from shooting you where you stand?" And then, like Bubba's like, put down your. He's like Mando says, "Put down your blaster or whatever," and then Bubba says, "Put down your jetpack." And I saw a funny joke where it's like, "You mean my gun? No, your jetpack. Why my jetpack? I still have a gun." Like.
Yeah, I didn't understand that really either.
It's a plot. It's because plot. He can't have the jetpack. The jetpack needs to survive the Razor Crest, and also he needs to not have it to get to Grogu.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because they even did a shot of him putting it down. It's like, this is visually important. Because, like, at the end, I feel like, I don't know if you watched the episodes the same way, but, like, I in my first reaction, like, first watches, I tend to, like, think about where things are. like thinking about how they can get out of it, and so like
yeah, I was like, dude, just grab the jetpack. You're running up the hill anyway. You could just grab it.
It was like, where's the jetpack? You need it. So like they did that on purpose to like get us stressed about that.
In my mind, I was thinking it would take you less time to get to Grogu if you took the time to go grab it and then flew than if you just ran all the way there. It would still take you less time. You just grab the freaking jetpack.
But that's not the point.
That's not the plot, because Baby Yoda has to get taken. Which I'm kind of glad about, because I like that Baby Yoda's not freaking innocent anymore. Like, he's not innocent. That's not the word I was looking for. But he's not, like, out of danger anymore. Like, the whole season, like, bad stuff be happening to Mando. You know, the crate dragon coming.
Baby Grogu got swallowed.
He did get swallowed, but he was also perfectly encased in a, metal ball. But, like, I like that he's not out of danger, like, and there was actually some steak to it, some good medium rare steak. Like, he's now been taken, and we have to worry about what's going to happen to him. Although, we know they're not going to kill him, because, Disney's not going to kill their number one moneymaker. But yeah, like, it's nice to see something different, other than just like, oh, all these bad things happened, and Baby Yoda happened to not be taken. Like,
and also, Mando gets punished for leaving him be.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
wherever I go, he goes. That's a bunch of BS. You keep leaving him next to cantinas. Times that you actually, like, live up to that.
Yeah.
And they freaking take him with a bunch of X-Men Sentinels.
Yeah. Well, also, like, he could really get to him. He was, like, trying to push through in big force field time.
The rule of threes made him continually try to get to the force field, even though it would like literally knock him out.
I was like, dude, why are you even doing this at this point? Like, you should know you're not going to get through that. Just stand there and wait. It's not that hard. Just be patient. I will say that whenever the first kind of ship of Imperial stormtroopers came, I actually thought it was a Jedi. I didn't like. I feel stupid now because it's very obviously a troop transport. But I was like, maybe it's a Jedi. That'd be pretty cool. But no, it's not. I don't know. I don't think I want a Jedi. I will tell you what Katie's prediction is, and that is that somehow Mando will get to Baby Yoda, and he'll get on the ship, Moff Gideon's ship. He'll get like lost or something where he can't get Baby Yoda in time, and we think that Baby Yoda, like, something bad happened to him, but then when Mando catches up with him, a Jedi has, like, helped him. Or something like that. Like, the Jedi who Grogu called out to is there, and we didn't, like, see them come in, I guess. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we'll see a Jedi at all.
In the finale or next week?
Either one. I don't think we're going to see a Jedi. Unless it's Ahsoka coming back and deciding that she actually will train him. But, yeah, other than Ahsoka, I don't think we're going to see a Jedi. Or Thrawn. I don't think we'll see either one.
I'm gradually becoming more accepting of... This doesn't mean I want it, but I'm becoming more accepting of the fact that it might be Luke.
Yeah, I think it might be Luke as well.
You just said you didn't think it's going to be a Jedi.
I said if there is.
And when in the... Which episode was it? I think it was the first episode we did, second episode we did.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, some people think that it might be Luke. You were like, that's crazy, dude. There's not going to be Luke Skywalker.
My opinions can change, my guy.
I know, but even within the past 10 seconds...
I said, I mean, if there is...
There's not going to be
Well, I'm saying,
Jedi.
I don't think there is, but if there is one, I have a feeling it's probably... Like, I can speculate which one I think it might be if there is one. But I don't think there will be one. Speaking of, have you seen the pictures of Sebastian Stan being photoshopped to look like Luke?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks just like Mark Hamill, almost, but not really. I
don't think he'd be Sebastian Stan. Because my original debunking of the theory was that he's in Georgia filming Falcon and the Winter Soldier. At least at this time of the show. So they'd probably just be doing de-aging.
Mm-hmm, probably.
I don't know, because we know that it's gonna build up to a showdown of all Mando's friends. I'm not confident that Cara and Greef are going to be in the finale.
I mean, I want them to, but I'm not either.
I think it might just be more Mandalorian associated people.
Yeah.
So we have Boba, we have Fennec, who is not Mandalorian, but she's abiding by the code.
Mm-hmm. We'll have Mayfeld, probably.
Yeah, we'll have Mayfeld, but he's not a Mando. Bo-Katan and the Night Owls, I think, are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Who else could come back?
Ahsoka, maybe?
Yeah, I mean...
Maybe?
Like, Ahsoka...
She's too busy off on her own thing, though.
I don't think there's going to be 2 Jedi that are coming to return. Like, either not have a thing of a Jedi answering the call. Either don't cover that in this season and have Ahsoka.
Yeah. Or
not have Ahsoka in this season and answer the call with Luke or a random guy. Or Force Ghost Yoda.
Mm-hmm. I don't think they should do 2 Jedi. That would be a little much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I either want 1 or none.
Like, I feel like just for general audiences and to avoid just further canon complications, it feels like Luke is the most, like, narratively satisfying if he comes in and swoops and saves the day, or narratively just, like, in terms of centralizing it to, like, the main Jedi who's alive.
Yeah.
And to avoid Ezra complications.
Mm-hmm.
Because you haven't seen the end of Rebels, but it complicates things.
I've seen the end of... I know what happens at the end of Rebels. So
it complicates things in their future plans for stories if Ezra is here.
Because then he's not with Thrawn and it makes weird stuff happen. Yeah, I also think...
And it would spoil the end of a future show.
Yeah. I think this is the point of Luke's life that we know the least about, so it would make sense if maybe he was in this. Most other Jedi during this time, we kind of know what they're doing. Actually, are there any... I mean, there's a few, but... like
Cal Kestis.
Yeah.
5-year-old Ben Solo.
We don't really know what Cal Kestis is doing. Like, at the end of the game, he literally destroys the holocron that has the list of all...
If I cared, I'd be really mad at you right now.
Yeah, right? Well, you're not going to ever play the game.
So, like, thanks for appropriately judging my opinions, but also, like, screw you for, on principle, spoiling a major story.
Okay. Well, he had a holocron that... The whole game, you're basically building up to finding a holocron that has a list of all Force-sensitive children within the galaxy. And, like, literally the entire game, that's what you're doing. And at the end, you get it, and you go... This isn't useful, and then you literally cut it in half. That's the game. Like, it's kind of... You learn a lot of stuff along the way, but the whole, like, plot being that thing is kind of screwed up whenever you just destroy it at the end. But you get to fight a bunch of cool people, and...
Are you saying that it's bad that the main character of a story saved the day?
No. I'm saying it's a little weird. That the whole movie, or the whole video game, you're building up to getting this list, and then once he gets it, he just destroys it.
Well, why would he want it?
He was trying to rebuild the Jedi Order.
Well, that's messed up.
He was trying to get it, and then rebuild the Jedi Order by going and finding Force-sensitive kids.
He's gonna go pull a Jedi Order and kidnap kids when they're not... What?
It was actually someone else's idea. There was another Jedi that found him.
That would actually be kind of funny. I would want to see, like, a comedy sketch of that. Where, like, it's just, like, a 20-year-old Cal Kestis.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I've got the list of the kid. I'm going to join the Jedi Order. Like, imagine a 20-year-old feeling confident enough to rebuild a Jedi Order by taking, like, 30 toddlers and training them in the ways of the Force.
Yeah.
And, like, we're going to defeat galactic fascism with all these kids. That would be such a hilarious
But there's another Jedi that finds Cal, and she's actually the one who's going to find it, and she's using his help, and she's older than he is. She was actually a Jedi Master during the Clone Wars when everything happened. Like, she had a Padawan when Order 66 happened. And this actually does tie into the Mandalorian, and a theory that I may have, which, you know, a thing that we've discussed is that we don't need to know who saved Baby Yoda in the temple. Like, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that he was saved. But Seer, who in the show is the lady who finds Cal. She has like cut herself off from the Force because of what happened in Order 66. She like doesn't want to be a part of the Force anymore. But her and her Padawan during Order 66 saved a bunch of younglings from the temple and like got them and took them somewhere and like hid them away. And so what I'm thinking is that maybe if they ever do anything where they're like, they have to explain, which they don't, but if they ever explain who saved Baby Yoda, it would make the most canonical sense for it to be Seer. And like, she's the one who saved him because she saved a bunch of other younglings.
But she's definitely not the only one who did that.
No, definitely not. And she said they didn't survive.
So it depends on your definition of canonical sense. Because some people's version of canonical sense is, oh, that person that I already know is connected to this other person that I know. This makes sense. Mm-hmm. Or you could be like, what's probably like canon is that a lot of people escaped, or at least like shuffled off kids to save them.
Yeah,
and it's not beyond our suspension of disbelief to think that Grogu was saved by some other person.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's not the only option. But I don't know. I saw that in the game and thought that it was worth pointing out that she did save children. Actually, I think what she said is that like none of them survived, but she wasn't there when they died, so it could easily be, you know. She said she like left them with her Padawan, and then none of them survived because she never saw them again. But that could easily be just like she never saw them again, so she thought they were dead or something.
What about her Padawan?
She never saw them again. Her Padawan did die. She did find her Padawan dead, but she didn't. I don't know. It's weird. She doesn't do a lot of detail on it in the game. It's just like a small conversation you have with her, like at the beginning of the game. So, yeah, there is that. What else do we have to talk about? The Razor Crest got destroyed. Good or bad?
It's good. It's really good, actually.
Why is it really good?
Because it's good. Like, even though it was a home for Baby Yoda and Grogu and
Mando,
mm-hmm. that also represented his journey throughout the galaxy of like not knowing where he is, and it protected him from all that stuff. But I think symbolically, for him to find a safer ship or like just a home on a planet,
yeah,
like that, it's sort of for him to get Grogu back if he does it in this season. It makes sense for that to be out of the way and that we're getting to something new.
Yeah. All right, so I think I kind of agree with that. I like that we're not now tied down by the Razor Crest anymore, and that he's having to like go out and do stuff. Like, he doesn't care about possessions anymore because now he doesn't have anything, right? And he's not like trying to protect other things and protect Baby Yoda. Now it's like just like, I have to get that child.
So all he has left,
a spear,
his jetpack. He doesn't have the rifle anymore, which sucks.
Yeah, especially because Nerf is releasing a toy of it now.
Yeah.
Which I'm probably going to get.
That's some really bad brand synergy. But, yeah, so he has the ball and he's got the spear, which is awesome because the spear represents his violent nature and his, well, not just violent, but, like, noble violence.
Yeah.
Of upholding the Mandalorian code, representing their history and using force, but then the ball is his nurturing side, his giving side to Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know if it's like Jedi necessarily, but it's like, you know, ensuring that sort of love, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's really cool. And even look at like coronation pictures from like hundreds of years ago. Like a royal person would like hold a ball and then they'd hold a spear or a sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, that makes me think that like, just the fact that they're using those imagery like could lend itself to him being the future ruler
of Mandalore.
Yeah, that's like season 3, season 4. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Plus the fact that now the Darksaber's in play and the ruler of Mandalore wields the Darksaber. Heck yeah.
Which, oh yeah, I don't know, cause like I'm picturing him pierce Moff Gideon with the spear. But that also, I don't know. I don't know if he'd take the Darksaber or not. Because, like, I don't... Like,
he'd probably give it back to Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Because he's a nice guy like that.
But that's what I'm also interested in, is that but we want it to go back to Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
I mean, what if Mando goes to the dark side figuratively? Like, he could, like... Okay, so... I don't know, like, what if Mando, like, becomes a bad person and becomes power hungry? I mean... I don't know, have you seen...
And then has to fight Baby Yoda.
There's this movie called Lawrence of Arabia. It's, like, based off of history and, and like, I forget which war it is. But, basically, it's, like, this, like... He's a guy that's serving in the army who's, like, into art and, like... He's not the typical, like, military guy. And he's, like... Oh, he questions orders, and he's very, like, not really cut out to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even do combat. And then he gets, like, sent on a mission in Arabia, and then he keeps, like, dealing with, like, these people in Arabia, and, like, it's like a 3-hour plus movie, and it so much shifts to where he's, like, in the position to lead and, like, secure territory for Britain. And, like, it gets in, like, even though he used to be this, like, critical person of war and military and stuff like that, like, he becomes that, and he's, like, conscious of that, and he's, like, wary of the fact that he's totally contradicting himself, and then he, like, continues to do it, and, like, that. I'm just describing because I think it's a great movie. We should watch it together sometime.
We should.
But, I don't know, that's a possible path they could go down, where, like... Yeah. I don't think Mando really cares about that stuff, but, like, it'd be interesting to see him become the antagonist of, like, season 4.
Yeah, that'd be really weird.
Another connection with the spear and ball thing, though. I just want to, like, mention it quickly because it's not my own idea, but I got it from Sky Talkers, one of our favorite Star Wars podcasts. That they've seen, apparently since, like, season 1, I think, they've been making the comparison to Lone Wolf and Cub, this samurai series of movies, where it's basically what Mandalorian is based off of. It's like this samurai who has a child survive this, like, terrible massacre, and he's, like, on a journey with him, and basically he lets the baby choose, which is another thing that connects. He lets the baby choose between a ball and a spear, and if the baby chooses the ball, that meant that he would kill his baby and not have to have him endure this violence and getting hunted down and stuff like that.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And if the baby chooses the spear, he goes on this trail with him, and he, you know, as he grows up, he would be trained to be violent like his father.
Can I guess where this is going?
What?
If he chooses the ball, he gets taken to the Jedi to be trained as a Jedi, but if he chooses the spear, he's trained as a Mandalorian to become like a warrior like Din. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's epic. I like that. I would... Okay, as much as I want to...
Not, well, I don't know, because there's actually 3 things that he's being pulled from, though. Because, like, Mando wants him to be a safe, just normal kid.
Yeah.
And so, sort of, like, Mando... being a Mando and being a Jedi sort of ruined both, like, that.
But what if he chooses none and just runs to Mando and just, like, hugs him?
That's what I mean. That's what I wanted for the Sing Stone thing.
Yeah, man.
I saw that happening, and yeah, my prediction was wrong.
I didn't
think we were gonna get it in this episode.
I didn't really like how okay Baby Yoda was to just be like, okay, calling out now. You know, I was like,
he was doing the
Yeah, he was. I thought he would have more trouble, like with, like having to convince him to call out. You know, because he wants to be with Mando, but he just kind of did it. He was like, okay.
I think for blocking purposes, they had to have him, like, face the downhill part of it where, like, Mando was going, so he could look back and, like, see him. But I don't know. My vision was like he was, like, looking out into the distance.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know. It just sort of made sense to me. But that doesn't matter. It's just prediction.
As much as I want to see Baby Yoda grow up and be a cool Jedi guy, I would absolutely love to see him in like full Mando armor, just like going ham with some blasters and some explosives. Man, that'd be so cool.
I think he's the bridge between all of it.
Yeah.
We've had a Mandalorian Jedi before.
Yeah.
Which was covered in Rebels.
Tare Vizsla.
Yeah, which like maybe through Force Ghost that could be who it comes in contact to.
He was the one who created the Darksaber.
Yeah, so like that would be very thematically and historically significant.
I think he's been the only Jedi Mandalorian.
And it would feel very Avatar as well.
Yeah.
But like that, the concept of like bridging Mandalorian and the Jedi, like Baby Yoda, like I feel like he's the fulfilling prophecy or whatever to that.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Or not even prophecy, because it's not what people have wanted in the past. People want the conflict, and he's there to disrupt the conflict and just like this is weird. It's almost like, you know how like last season I was saying that like he's like a metaphor for Star Wars, and, like nurturing it and make like like it's like this I forget exactly the details of it, but
now he's going against all of the tropes.
Not the tropes, but I mean that like for future storylines, like it's like they're rebooting it.
Yeah.
Like they've got hundreds of years left in his life.
Yeah.
To tell, like, and that's the first time I've been excited about future storylines of Star Wars in a while.
Because like they could make a movie series that takes place hundreds of years after the Skywalker saga, and we could still see Grogu in it.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of epic.
Yeah.
Because like then we're getting a whole new series, and the only character that's still alive is going to be Grogu. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I don't know how old are Wookiees? Oh no, Chewbacca's way too old already. But yeah, like you could have, and it would be a good bit of like something for fans to be like, oh, this isn't completely new because I know this character.
But you know what? This is exciting because it's out of our field of vision right now. It's out of our conceptions. I guarantee you, if it happened in 5 or 10 years, I'd be like, I'm sick of all these new Star Wars projects. And that's what used to be fun about Star Wars, which I barely even remember because I'm so young. But the one thing I envy at this point of this sort of media-saturated generation is that if you grew up in the 70s, you would just sort of wonder about stuff.
Yeah.
And sort of just think about what could be there, what are the possibilities. And now, if you're 13, you don't ever wonder. You're just like, you just get on Twitter and you're like, hey, Disney, do this movie about this character.
And they go, okay.
I want it. And if enough 13-year-olds do it, it happens.
Yeah.
Or if you like, hey, Sega or whoever produced Sonic, your Sonic design sucks. Change it.
And they go, okay.
It's like, okay, I will do it, 13-year-old. Like,
yeah.
There's no sense of like...
I think you and I can kind of remember time during Clone Wars where we were wondering things. You know, like we'd already had the prequel. You and I were both born after the prequels came out. Actually, I think Revenge of the Sith came out the year after I was born, right?
05.
05. So I was 3 when Revenge of the Sith came out. So like we don't remember a time before the prequels or the original trilogy, but we do remember before Clone Wars came out. And when Clone Wars was coming out, we were very excited. If you were into Star Wars at that point, like I know me.
Did you see the movie?
Yeah.
I did too, but like, I don't know. Like I wasn't. Were you that old to like speculate stuff?
Maybe not speculate stuff. I just remember being genuinely excited, like just extremely excited, because that was like one of my favorite movies for like right after it came out. Like I would watch it all the time because I had it on DVD, and I would watch it all the time. And so like we don't get that anymore because now, when a new movie comes out or a new property comes out, we're afraid that they're gonna like overdo it with some of the.
Well, it's also because we're older.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not just about excitement. We have critiques, and I mean, we have a good attitude about knowing if something, like knowing the target audience. Like we enjoy stuff that's for younger kids.
Yeah, like I love Rebels.
Like
it's great.
We're not gonna demand that Star Wars mature with us, and we're also gonna keep in mind that it's ultimately for the 12-year-olds. That's what George. You've seen that, right? George Lucas saying that Star Wars.
I think so.
Okay, you looked at me like you were like totally shocked, like you were questioning your life choice.
Well, sometimes, no, I was thinking about like how in the world is the original trilogy meant for 12-year-olds? Because it's a little dark.
Well,
but
no, it's what?
I don't know. Maybe
it's not dark.
I don't know.
It's the right amount of challenging for a kid entering adolescence. What?
Yeah.
Also, 80s movies were allowed to deal with that stuff. It wasn't so like nowadays kids movies are like explicitly it's either like you go from farting to straight up like sci-fi violence. Like, there's like these two like separated levels.
It's Dora the Explorer or Quentin Tarantino. There's no in the middle. Like pick here.
Well, I was more like Marvel movies.
Yeah.
And then if you're like once you're like 16 you're into Tarantino.
Yeah, exactly. Would you like to do some quick hot takes about what we think's going to happen in the finale? First off, do we think that these next 2 episodes are going to be a part 1, part 2 finale like last season?
No.
I'll say yes.
I was going to say I didn't have hot takes, but I do. This next episode is going to be hijacking the New Republic ship, and then the finale is going to be on Camino.
Camino? Why Camino?
Because cloning.
What are they going to clone?
That's what Pershing is up to.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. I like that. And then they see it's going to be some kind of thing with Boba Fett or something. Maybe. Probably not. But either way, it could be.
Maybe this is because I love Attack of the Clones. And I'm just sort of like...
I love the Camino scene in Attack of the Clones.
Everyone has that little like exception. Like they have this philosophy of like what they like about Star Wars, and they're like, there's always one thing where it's like, no, that's the exception. I'm bypassing my own rules for what I think is normally good.
Yeah.
In terms of connections stuff like that, that's for me. So like, I don't like tying all these things together, but seeing Boba Fett return the Camino, and that be the showdown of Moff Gideon, and see Pershing finally explain stuff, because I think just narratively, that's generally what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna be clunky. It's like Mando's gonna want to know what's going on, and Pershing's gonna tell him.
Yeah, exactly.
And just seeing Boba on that planet would be cool. I mean, maybe we even see a Kaminoan. Like, that's just like,
yeah, I'm with you.
That's a soft spot where I'm just like, I don't care about going you like everyone wants to go back to Tatooine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing they've always been critical of. But like Camino is like that thing that's legitimately not been explored, and everything else I want to be untouched, new territory. But this is what I want.
Yeah, I'm with you. Whereas like with new stuff, I want it to be its own thing. I don't want to be like, oh, this is going to be cool because we're going to use something from another movie or another property, right? But I also think that there is a space to do things from other properties. I think there are ways to pull in. Like Ahsoka, I think there are ways to pull in Ahsoka or pull in Boba Fett and have it be good, and I think that's what they've done this season, is that they have referenced the other movies in a way that's not strictly like, hey, this is going to be good because of the original stuff, I think Camino would be a great example of that, because that's one of my favorite scenes of Attack of the Clones. It's just the whole Camino learning about the clones. It's so cool. I love it. But yeah, any other hot takes for you for the next 2 episodes?
I have one about this episode, in that this episode is connected to Reylo.
Really? Why?
The blue butterflies. So basically, those butterflies they're connected with a lot of like Force stuff and baby stuff, because they were shown in like a Ben Solo animated thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were maybe written into like a short part of a novel involving baby Ben Solo.
Yeah.
And they're sort of meant, and also like a comic, I think, that Charles Soule did. I forget which one it was. But just sort of general, like, they weren't originally intended to be like a Ben Solo thing, but like that's how fans receive it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that's taken.
That's one of the reasons why people think that Ezra is going to be the Jedi. It's because there was a white Lothcat in the episode with Ahsoka.
It's just a Filoniism.
I know, but like a lot of people, because there was that one where Ezra was going to find his old home or whatever, and he was being led by the White Loth cat. Remember, it was like leading him through the city as like a guide, or no, it led him to Ryder is where it led him, and it
but
almost
that's
like a guide.
Ezra. That's Ezra specific in that he connects with animals.
Yeah,
but we're not like that. That Loth cat in that episode wasn't connecting to anyone.
Exactly. I mean, that's why people think it's Ezra. That's one of those things where it ties him to another. That ties specifically to another character, and that's like a symbol for a character. And
so like the butterflies, butterflies symbolize like change and metamorphosis and all that stuff, and like that relates to Ben Solo in that he's gone through so many different like areas of his life where he's changed from one thing to another.
Yeah.
And it's also like this innocent sort of thing. It's natural. The Force is natural. It's just like that instinctual thing. And so Grogu sort of seeing that. It's not like a deep thing in the story. It's just like a little detail that they threw in because they knew that people like us would catch on to it. But also, like, I think it was leading up to Rise of Skywalker that those butterflies were first featured, and like a bunch of like all the Reylo community like put the butterflies in their bio.
Yeah.
And in their username. To like, it was just like this little fandom like thing of like identifying people as Reylo.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool to see like fans sort of make things their own.
I have a hot take, and I don't think it's actually going to happen, but I think, okay, it might happen, but new MMA lady. Can't remember her name. The Imperial officer lady.
I'll look it up. Keep talking.
I think she might be a good guy. Secretly. Or she might turn good. She's either a spy or she might turn. I think she's going to fight Moff Gideon.
I think she's... What makes you think she's anything other than a straightforward Imperial, though? Like,
because she's an MMA fighter. They, like you said, they're not going to pull her in if they're not going to have her fight somebody.
That doesn't mean she's going to fight her own side.
I don't know. I just think it'd be cool. It's just a hot take, man. It has nothing to back it up. Your hot takes actually have stuff to back it up, making them lukewarm takes, whereas mine are just hot takes. Like scorching hot takes.
The heat of a take depends on how controversial it is, not how evidence-based it is.
Oh, okay. Well, on my other podcast, Third and Long, which you guys should probably listen to because it's pretty epic, we do the heat of a take based on how likely it is to happen. But that's with football, though, so that's like slightly different than this. But that's my really only hot take. I definitely think that I think they won't get Baby Yoda back this season. Do you think he will or not?
Katie M. O'Brien.
All right.
And her character is comms officer.
Nice.
That's discouraging. That's very discouraging.
So, do you think they're going to get Baby Yoda back this season? Or do you think we're going to have to wait till next season for them to get him back? I think they'll defeat Moff Gideon, but I don't think they'll get Baby Yoda back. So it'll be like a win, but also a wait till next season.
There's going to be... I think he gets him back, but he's not going to be a good situation.
So either way, we both think it's going to be a yay, but wait kind of thing?
It's... Honestly, see, the thing is, like, this episode feels like a bit of a red herring. Because, like, you think it's going to be good, and then they're like, episode whatever, the tragedy. And then it's like, you know it's going to end badly. Even though it keeps going, you're like, this could end well. It's not going to end well. But even that episode could be a red herring. Because we've gone through the tragedy, and now we think, well, the rest of it's going to be fine. But they could get even worse from there. You never know.
They could, like, kill Cara Dune.
Oh, that'd be such a shame to not see that character again.
I knew you would say that. Or like they could kill like Grief or somebody. Like they could kill off a major character. Yeah, although they're not really major characters this season.
It depends, because Carl Weathers apparently his contract for this season was on the condition that he got to direct, and so if he wants to direct more, then he might want to like stay alive.
Yeah,
but like maybe I don't know. It's possible.
So yeah, I think
dies or doesn't show up again.
I think they could kill off a major character. And if they do, I have a feeling it's probably going to be Cara Dune.
Oh, another symbolic thing that I stole from some podcast. I forget which one. I think it was with the Force, but it was that the spear. Like spears have a lot of like recurrent in myths and religious symbolism.
Yeah. Of
like Jesus getting like stabbed with a spear, and just like the irony of like getting stabbed by your own weapon. I think it was Gawain in the Knights of the Round Table.
Yes.
Stories where he fell on his own sword. So like maybe Mando gets stabbed with his own spear, which I feel like that would be the visual way to like punch the gut of every audience member. Like not just like Mando losing at the end of the season, but if he gets stabbed. Or a contemporary example of this is Iron Man in Infinity War when he's fighting Thanos and he forms a spear to fight him, and then Thanos stabs him. It's that ultimate like taking what you're giving out as your effort to be a hero and just piercing it right through you. It would really shove home the like failure of it, and I'm becoming more prepared for that. Which is weird. I'm also preparing for Luke Skywalker saving the day, so.
Do you think that they'll ever kill Mando and get a new Mandalorian? No.
Shut up.
So that's a no?
No.
Alright.
You're gonna look at Grogu dead in the eye and say that his dad's gonna die.
I can't do that. He's too cute. He's just staring at me now. He's slightly fallen over to where he's just staring directly at me. Thank you, Christian.
Grogu just flipped Spencer off.
Yeah, okay. Is there anything else we have to talk about before we wrap up this episode and get in? Wait for next episode.
We forgot to mention about Grogu like throwing the stormtroopers against the wall.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, he did. He threw some stormtroopers pretty hard,
and then he got stunned with a stun blaster after Moff Gideon weirdly taunted him about like. You're a baby. You have to take naps. Really makes me.
I had a lot of fun watching him collide two stormtroopers with each other.
Yeah.
I had way too much fun watching him do that. And then he was like, "Haha, you're young and you have to take a nap."
But yeah, Goff Midian, really starting to hate him. He's really showing how terrible he is.
Yep. Don't like him at all.
Yeah, not a fun guy. He's a mustache and everything.
I hope he dies.
I hope he drinks space whiskey. I want to see him like drink something.
What about Spotchka?
No, he's too high class for that.
Okay. Alright. Is that it?
No offense to any viewers who drink Spotchka.
Yeah. Do they have that at Galaxy's Edge? I feel like they would.
I don't know.
They should. Alright, is that it? I think so.
That is the episode.
Alright, well thank you guys for listening to this episode. A few shout outs for this week. If you guys want to go find us on Instagram, I am SPNCR on Instagram. Christian is Mission Kriller. If you also want to go follow the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, we are Last Star Wars Pod. On Facebook, the Last Star Wars Podcast. If you want to go listen on YouTube, go give us a subscription, like our videos. We're also on YouTube at the Last Star Wars Podcast. Christian has started playing Jai Pur while I'm doing the outro. And another shout out that we like to do every week. Everybody go to StarWarsNowThis.com to get a good glimpse of what other podcasts are out there. It's just a collection. You've heard us talk about it before. Good collection of Star Wars podcasts from all kinds of different people about all kinds of different topics.
We might be the last Star Wars podcast, but we're not the only podcast.
Yeah, we're the last, but not the only. And this is a good example.
So if you see something that's like started posting after we started posting, those aren't canon. So
no, they're not.
You can't listen to them.
Exactly.
So if they've started like 2018, then they're good to go.
Yeah, 2018 or older, they're fine. We'll even say 2019 because we started like end of 2019. So yeah, go to StarWarsNowThis.com to go get your list of really good Star Wars podcasts. There's now, Christian, over 125 podcasts and 250 different hosts on the website.
Oh my god, a catalog of podcasts. I didn't listen to the number, but it seems like a lot.
125, and we were in the top 40 to be put on there, so very excited about that. So go check that out. Link is in the description. As always, thank you for listening to this episode of Mornings with the Mandalorian, and we'll see you next week for a possible part 1 of this finale. See you guys.